Everybody, welcome back. My sound okay? Hello! Hey, why? Okay, yeah, it's fine. You just gotta get a little... You gotta get to the NLSS levels of pageantry in order to hit that red bar, which you don't want to hit the red bar in the first place. Okay, S1ZZ, V7BE. Very good stats, a very good item, and starting to build at least the slightest amount of momentum. Can't really be upset with it. Number one... Oh, jeez. Number one comment about the end of the streak. NL, you really gotta stop taking pills in this game. You're not wrong. I don't have an addiction to the pharmaceuticals. I have an addiction to uncertainty, you know? It's not the fact that, you know, they could give me a stat upgrade. It's the 3 question marks are like the brightest star right in my vision cone. And it's so easy to be like, just don't worry about it. If you look at it, you're probably gonna burn your eyes. No, 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 no. I gotta know. But it is a bad habit. It's a little surprising, I guess, that I'm not much... Excuse me? That I'm not much of a gambler in real life. I guess in the game, the thing is, the number one consequence that you're gonna face is like, you know, you'll suffer an ill effect, digitally speaking. It's not like you're gonna accidentally lose your house because you bet on Louis Eriksson scoring 30 goals or something like that. You might say, but yeah, isn't your loss perhaps going to economically compromise you because a certain percentage of people will stop watching when a streak ends and may never return? Congratulations, you just received an honorary degree in arguing on the internet from the University of Phoenix Online. We'd like to welcome you to our convocation, social distance only. And we don't use Zoom. Nobody at the faculty can handle it. So we're going to have you call in on Skype. How does that sound to you? You excited for your honorary degree in arguments no one asked for? I don't know why I wanted to put .com at the end of that. That's like that's a 1990s classic. You burn someone, then you go like, www.nobodycares.com. People were like, oh! Yo, that's new tech. How did he hit him with the .com, .net, .gov. It is from Austin Powers. You're not wrong, but Austin Powers didn't invent it. By the way, it's not Austin Powers. That's a Dr. Evil quote. Act like you've been there before. We're doing, if you ignore the loss, which is hard to do. Sorry, boys. Oh. If you ignore the loss, we're doing pretty well in Isaac lately. Nope. Well, I don't know. Chocolate Milk Ludo maybe is okay, but I'm much more comfortable just having tears. I don't know. Chocolate Milk Ludo might be terrible, or it might be amazing for all I know. What I do know is that we are, like, completely safe now, and this run is pogging off. So obviously you can't ignore the loss. I'm just saying, if you chose to ignore the loss, then we've had a pretty good run. I don't know why you would choose to ignore the loss. I also do feel like I've taken a little bit more damage over the past couple of rooms than is strictly necessary. That's definitely true. My mistake. Cats, what are you doing here? Hey, yo! Hey, yo, go, go, go. Look, I will tolerate a little strife. Okay? But when you go into Tomo's spot and you start biting him, that's not a little bit of strife. That's you being a jerk. You know that's Tomo's spot. If you're in, it's like the no man's land, right? Or what am I trying to say? You know the Christmas truce from the First World War, where the soldiers from the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente chose not to fight on Christmas and instead enjoyed a nice piping hot cup of trench coffee. Should have said trench tea, man. That would have been such better alliteration. It's like that. When you're in your boxes. Bro. Oh. How about that? When you're in your boxes, that's a universal sign, Ruka. I wouldn't expect you to understand, but it's a universal sign of being a non-combatant. When you're outside of the box and you get into fights, you know, you're out there in the war zone. In the gulag. It's to be expected. Well, this run is, nah, that's okay. This run is pretty much set in stone already. Very exciting. No problem. Brimstone, pretty solid. Good damage. Solid attribute. Don't think I need you to tell, or I don't think you need me to tell you that. God, I hate the English language sometimes. I don't think you need me to tell you that. I think we need a language that has, like, implied words. Way more than words that are spoken, help. Are spoken outright, explicitly. Like, I feel like that sentence only needs one word. Don't tell. That's 2 words, but... You would divine my meaning from that, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. I'm not a linguist. It's kind of a ridiculous take. I apologize, and we'll just be moving on. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna sneak through here. Just got a breeze right by you. Hard to stay 2 meters away, I'll admit, but we're doing our best. Today is Monday. Had a good Sunday. You might have been asking, how was your Sunday? You were talking it up. It was good, you know? Good Deadly Premonition stream. Just happy to get rid of it. That's pretty solid. Not Deadly Premonition. I'm not happy to get rid of that. I was happy to be a part of it. It's a one-of-a-kind game. However, went well. Geo, always fun. Good Northernlion tries of a game called Fight Crab. The Canucks did lose 3-0 in their game, which was a very frustrating game to watch. But, like, as soon as you catch yourself... I feel like this is true for all things in life that boil down to hobbies. As soon as you catch yourself getting mad about an entertainment property, which is really what sports and games and movies and books for the most part are as well. Not to say they can't aspire to a higher level of art that, you know, gives people that level of passion and stuff like that, but at the same time, as soon as you find yourself getting actually like a compromised emotional state for entertainment products that are outside of your control, try to do what I do. And I'm not saying I'm perfect when it comes to this, but you take a step back and recognize the true absurdity of it. You know what? I'm gonna. It's a little spicy, I'll admit, but I really want that speed upgrade and the ability to fly, and we'll try to go to our shop to buy some spirit hearts. You gotta recognize a couple of things. One is, this is completely outside of my control. 2 is, am I really gonna, you know, let a little piece of my life force, on planet Earth, my limited time on this big blue marble be, swallowed up by the fact that, like, blue man, not good with stick and puck. Green team, no penalty. You know, it's like, it's innately absurd. I'll never forget, like, you know, I never really had a problem with being a sore sports loser to begin with. Internationally, maybe, we'll see if, you know, if when the NHL players come back to the Olympics, if Canada gets eliminated in the quarterfinals like they did in Torino 2004, 2006, I should say. Then we'll see. But then again, I will be like, you know, 34 years old and have a child at that point. So I think I'll have other things going on. I'll probably just be like, that stinks. But when Kate and I saw some of the hockey games at the Olympics in 2018 in Korea, and like we got tickets to the Canada versus Germany game, which was a semi-final game to determine who would go to the gold medal match. And Canadians took it for granted. You know, Germany has been coming up internationally in the hockey scene, for sure, but definitely were considered heavy underdogs to Canada. Even though there were no NHL players there, and we just put on like a super lazy effort and lost. Which is completely deserved. But I'll never forget that on the train trip back from Gangneung to Seoul, there was a Canadian couple, and it's just mortifying, right? Because you're a tourist in another country, everybody is wearing gear that says where they're from, And your country has a reputation for politeness. And then, oh, that was our first hit on this floor. That's amazing. Just a Canadian couple arguing, like, so intoxicated and arguing insanely loudly about, like, you know, like, the dude was just being terrible to his girlfriend. And also, like, it was clearly, like, the whole thing had been set off because Canada lost the hockey game. It's just so embarrassing. It's like, you clearly, like, have the means to travel internationally to watch a sporting event. What are you complaining about? Get over it, you big baby. I mean, I don't want to repeat some of the stuff that he said, but let me just say there's some not so nice stuff about her, some not so nice stuff about Canada, some not so nice stuff about the nation of Germany, which is really, like, here's the thing. All they did was play hockey. You know, you don't, why you gotta bring up ancient history, just because they happen to put more pucks in the net than the red team, you weirdo. Anyway. Anytime I see someone losing their mind over sports like that, I always think back to that moment and I'm just like, man. You know what's funny is I feel like if I had brought this up over any other pastime, there would be a contingent of people that are like, well, you don't understand what's going on in his life. He might have had a hard time, blah, blah, blah. But if I bring it up about sports, people are going to be like, yeah, screw that guy. Sports ball, lol. What a loser. And you know what? I don't know. You might be right. In fact, I would probably agree. I mean, when I got off the train, I was like, man, what a loser. Not because he cared about something, but because he was being very rude to his partner with whom he traveled, you know, to Asia with. But, you know, what do I know? Okay. I gotta tell you, succubus, it's a great item. It's a great item. MJ and I, we're gonna have a heck of a time. But we're gonna not take it because HP's a little low. If we'd been to our shop first, we probably could have taken it. But, I mean, be realistic with me, be realistic with one another. This run is already, like, completely set. The only thing that could screw us, even that is really good, assuming it works with Brimstone. The only thing that could screw us is taking a bunch of very bad damage very, very quickly. Even that I see as kind of unlikely. Nah, that's fine. We're good on money. Just because we have so much defense right now. Like, this is, it's a very good setup. So what's going on in my life right now? I mean, you know, it's, you know, just baby preparation and whatnot. We do have a wasp's nest outside. And I was kind of in denial. Because Kate was like, there's a wasp's nest outside. And I was like, I doubt it. I grew up in the country. You probably just saw two bees. No. There's like a place right outside of our house where like probably 4 yellow jackets a second are leaving a big hole in the ground. And then like 4 more are coming back. But it's frustrating, you know. I don't mind paying to have them removed, and we are trying to have them, like, pleasantly removed, if that makes sense. We live in a very green city, and we're, you know, Disney completely screwed us over mentally, so that, like, I think all animals have, like, personalities and, like, feelings, and, like, you know, a bug's life has made me think, like, you can't even harm a poisonous wasp, or venomous, anyway. But because the nest is in the ground, it seems like most, even like nice bee and wasp recovery services are like, we pretty much just gotta nuke them, I'm sorry. But it had to happen on a long weekend, you know? So, like, the first Monday, I think, or maybe it's just always August 3rd, I don't know, but the first Monday in August is always a holiday in British Columbia. And don't get me wrong, and that's today, I should say. I'm happy for the people that get the day off. But at the same time, I mean, clearly I'm working. I'm not saying everybody should, but secondarily, It's making it hard to find a company that could come over. And by hard, I mean, like, literally impossible. So, I'm just, like, because we live in a relatively populated area, I'm just constantly, like, watching people walk by, and whenever they, like, dilly-daddle in front of our place, I'm like, you gotta move! There's a nest of wasps there. But we'll get it figured out. You know, I feel like if it was Christmas, it wouldn't, like, be so bad. Or if it was Easter, or if it was, you know, Canada Day. Because it's, like, BC Day, I'm like, just come on out and fix this for us. It's not even a real holiday. Don't you know that? I'm being facetious. But still, it's really, like, it's not as scary, because, I mean, like, again, I lived in the country, you know? I've been stung by wasps and bees, and obviously there are people with allergies, no doubt about that. But whenever non-allergic people have never been stung by a bee, I think they think of it like it's the same level of pain as being, like, maced or hit with bear spray or something like that. It's like, it stings, don't get me wrong. And then, like, a couple of minutes later, you get over it. And for the most part, my history with winged, sting-based creatures, I think we will actually take the Fool, because we got a great chance at boss rush here, is that if you don't mess with them, they largely, it depends on the species, they largely won't mess with you. But still, like, I want it handled. People were like, you should just go to Canadian Tire, and or some people were like, hey, at dusk, just go outside and, like, hit it with a baseball bat and then run. I would not do that because, you know, again, I mean, I was telling the same thing to Kate. I was like, if we lived in the country, we would just, I mean, if we couldn't get, like, it removed, we would just go out there and, you know, like, smack it with a hockey stick and then run inside. You can also buy, like, wasp spray that, like, puts them to sleep and stuff like that. But actually, this one is a little bit trickier because it's underground as well. But, you know, we have to concern ourselves with the safety of the people around us as well. Both fortunately and unfortunately. So we pretty much have no choice but to get it removed. But that's okay. Mostly, I'm like, just do it now. Do it. So that's what's going on in my life. In case you were interested about the happenings. Pretty low-key, you know, homeowner stuff. You know what? Thank you. We have a wasp. Not infestation, but just, I mean, it's just annoying. Because I consider myself a friend of the animals. I don't even like to kill, like, spiders and stuff like that. Now, I will say, I think sometimes the internet takes it too far. They're like, don't kill spiders. Spiders are the bugs that kill other bugs. They kill the really bad bugs. Yeah, but, like, the spiders are still a really bad bug. I don't mind them so much. Wow, what the heck happened there? But I would say that it is a very bad bug in the sense that when my wife sees one, she goes, ah, and then is like, kill this thing. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm a compassionate man. I would prefer not to snuff out the life of another willing thing. How do you reconcile that with the fact that you consume the flesh of other living things? Well, I have reconciled with it in the sense that I'm like, I mean, I was vegetarian for a time. Excuse me, Tomo. What are you doing up on the place where we eat, buddy? These cats today, they're losing their minds. And then secondarily, like, if my wife was like, hey, let's become vegetarian, I would do it overnight. I mean, we'd probably maybe in 2 days because we'll buy some groceries, but... So I'm not blaming her. All I'm saying is, like, you know, it's technically possible to maintain, you know, separate diets in a household. One could be vegetarian, one could be non-vegetarian, but it complicates things. Now, maybe you consider that a bad excuse, and maybe that's fair, but... Not to mention we're going to have a baby soon, and I'd be like, oh, so we need something the baby can eat, something I can eat, and also something you can eat. Okay, let's go out to a mythological restaurant located in heaven. So I kind of, I mean, I'm not taking the L for that one. I'm eating a lot of delicious meals, but Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing up there? He's looking at me. He's like, you're not... I know when you talk, you don't get up. My God, he's got me. Alright, he's jumped. So I don't want to kill this stuff, right? But at the same time, if my wife is like, kill it, I'm like, alright, fine. I'm not going to get into an argument about whether we should or should not kill this spider. I hate to say it, but you're getting snuffed. It's you or me today, spider bro. It's you or me. I'm going to save a credit card in the hopes that we can use it for the arcade, and we'll be moving on today. Plus, I'm kind of like, I don't think a vegetarian diet is, like, bad for a child necessarily. When I say I don't think that it's bad, what I mean to say is I think in the scientific way. You know, I have no knowledge one way or the other. But what I would say is, you know, when you got, I mean, a baby's kind of a different story. It's already on a vegetarian diet, you know? It does consume some dairy. Slash 100% dairy. But, regardless, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like, I don't want to be one of those parents who's like, oh, Nathaniel's on a vegan diet. Really? He's 8 years old. Nathaniel, what do you want to eat? Pepperoni. Not that the kid, I guess, should eat what they want to eat at all times. But I just, you know, meat is one of those foods that's both good and bad for you, right? Like, is good in the caveman sense, is very packed with, like, nutrients and vitamins and minerals. Is bad in kind of like the modern first world sense, where, you know, we can get a lot of that from other sources, pretty ambiently, and it can cause more harm than good in some situations. I don't think that's if you're like, that's wrong, come on. In some situations. If you're eating a skinless, boneless chicken breast, sure. But then if you're eating, you know, Burger King chicken fries 6 times a day and your Twitter account is like, I'm a carnivore. Come on. It's like the number of times, so occasionally, well, not occasionally, a few times a week, I'll drink a Soylent. I know I've talked about this before, but I always laugh, and I feel like people don't understand. Like, they genuinely think I was born 55 years old and discovered the internet last year. I was molded in the fires of a toxic internet. More toxic than the one we have today. Probably the same degree of toxicity. You know what? We probably should have done it like this. We definitely should have done it like this. But nowadays, at least, there's also some element of wholesomeness. Back then, it was just like, if you don't like it, just get out. So I always laugh. Sometimes, like, a VOD will go up, and I'll be drinking a Soylent in the Twitch VOD, and, like, somebody will be like, drinking Soylent, cringe. And then, like, I look at their profile, and it's like, just a humble muggle searching for my Hogwarts. And I don't normally respond to the comments, except in a situation like this where 30,000 people will hear it. But I'm always like, man, you gotta, if you're gonna become one of those guys who's like, you know, I'm concerned about my testosterone count, you better be jacked. That's all I'm saying. If you know, and I'm not gonna name names here because I don't want to offend any celebrities that may want to be at the show at some point. But the number of times someone's been like, soy, lol, soy, oh, I don't even smell edamame. I'm worried it'll compromise my masculine endocrinology profile. And then, like, I look at their profile and I'm like, you hate to see it, brother. And it might sound like I'm being judgmental, but they're being judgmental first about a beverage that I'm choosing to drink because of the fact that I didn't have time to eat a real lunch before the stream. Let those who are without flab throw the first stone. That's why I wouldn't throw the first stone. I got a little quarantine flab. I would suggest that right now I have the physique of an off-season strongman who's not actually very strong. I feel like if somebody was like, yo, dude, you should stop drinking 2 Soylents a week, and I looked at their profile and they looked like, you know, that wholesome meme of Chad's responding online in a very nice fashion, I would be like, you know what, fair enough, I disagree with you, and you're not a doctor. It seems like you're just trying to sell, like, you know, dark web pharmaceuticals to 16-year-old kids who don't know any better. But I would be like, hey, at least you're walking the walk to some extent. When someone's like, aren't you worried about soy compromising your testosterone? And then I look at their profile photo and it's like Kate Sith from Final Fantasy VII. I go, it's not there's anything wrong with being a big fan of Final Fantasy VII. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy VII. At least I was when I was 15. But, you know, you gotta understand the optics of the situation. It's the spirit of the internet. Don't make fun of anybody else unless you're not willing to, or unless you're willing to be made fun of for your own hilarity, in my eyes at least. It's the way I choose to see it. I've talked about this before though, and you know, the easy thing to do to avoid, and I can't believe we've seen this room twice in a row recently. The easy, I feel like this is how a lot of people get. And let's first say, like, I'm not a dietitian, nutritionist, whatever, you know? So, you shouldn't really be taking my advice on any, you know, fad diets or what have you. However, I feel like a lot of, pseudo-dietary conspiracy theories end up being propagated exclusively because of the fact that, you don't want to be seen as disbelieving in them because it'll call your manhood into question. You know, if you're out there and I don't know, all your friends are like joking about how soy screws up your pituitary gland or something like that, and then you're like, well, actually, the studies don't show that, or they show it in rats, but you have to consume 300 times your body weight. People will they'll turn their gaze to you. The eye of Sauron will pass to you, and then you'll be forced to defend yourself. And you haven't listened to as many podcasts as they have, so you know you're probably going to be a little bit unprepared. So I'm here almost as a dissenting voice, just to tell you that it's okay, you know? Just to tell you that it's okay to wait for the scientific literature to have its own, to have its say. It's okay to buy a subscription to JSOTR. Oh, JSTOR, there we go. Sorry, it's been a while since I was in university. Hey, you can also just go to your local university and start, you know, using the computers if people forget to log out. But if you choose to take the opposite approach and laugh at other people for consuming plant-based products, all I'm saying, anytime I see someone's Twitter profile, and you'd be surprised how many there are, and they're like, I'm a carnivore. No plant-based Illuminati's gonna tell me what to eat. And then I look at their profile photo and I'm like, brother, if you're eating like 200 grams of protein a day, some of that is going to waste. That's all I'm saying. And I'm also like, man, when people dedicate their entire social media profile to politics, I get it, even though it doesn't resonate with me. You know, when they're like, literally, in my free time, I exclusively post about politics. It's like a hobby that I wouldn't do, probably. But I understand that, you know, my circumstances are a little different than some of the people who do, for sure. So it is coming from a little place of privilege. But then also, secondarily, I'm like, I get it, because it's important. But then when people are like, I dedicate my social media profile to, like, laughing at people who eat vegetables, I'm like, what went wrong? I saw a great tweet, and I hope this isn't seen as like griping about Twitter. It's actually some of the most entertaining stuff on the site. But like, there's a tweet of like this lady, and the dude said some really nasty stuff to her, like stuff that I won't repeat. And then she passed the stuff on to his wife, who she could find because he was using his real name on every service. And then his wife didn't care, which is whatever, that's their personal business. But then he replied to her again and was like, no one you talk to in my life is gonna be mad at this stuff. They'll all tell you to F off. You lead a miserable life. Meanwhile, I'm 50 and I'm already retired and I've got my own personal batting cage. And I was like, that's what you're... Look, don't get me wrong, congratulations for your success, sir. You seem very happy. But your own personal batting cage? That's the crown jewel right now, is that you're 50 years old and you're like, yeah, I got a chain link fence and a pitching machine. Like, if one of my friends was like, I got my own private batting cage, I would be like, that's sick, I'd love to come over. If one of my friends was like, hey, screw you, ha ha ha, and I was like, that's not nice, you go, whatever, miserable, you miserable soy boy. I don't have to listen to I don't have to play by the rules of society because I got my own personal batting cage. I would be like, man, what a loser. Anyway, thanks for watching. That was an easy run. We're not a loser, we're a winner. Who's the loser now? For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. See ya!